Podcast, episode 101, 542, June 11th. Today's Tuesday. We drove back yesterday from Blade Show. Holy shit. How was today?
Fucking flew by.
How was your day?
Good.
How was Blade Show?
Good.
How was Blade Show?
Very good.
What'd you learn? Was it what you thought it was going to be? Something a little different this year, huh?
Yeah.
The energy was different.
Yeah, I got goosebumps like 10 times over the weekend. For all the right reasons. Like, just
Like
talking
what?
about...
What stood out?
So, two things stood out a lot to me. The first thing is, like, this has got a couple things in it. Like, one, how small the community is. Like, dudes doing real shit. How small that group is. And how old some of your friendships are. People coming around and saying, like I mean, you've been around... I mean, you've been around for 30 years, but, like, real dudes have been coming around for 30 years, you know? So,
yeah. Got
to meet those guys. Some other friends that really good friends. Some people doing their own thing now. Some people change. I mean, there's always... I don't want to say evolutions, but changes, right? The other thing is, like... So I went there last year or the year before, and I walked around the show 3 or 4 times. There's a couple times where I was like, man, I got bored. And I was like, man, I'm just going to go stand at the SOE booth. This year it was, like, we were selling stuff, but that wasn't the reason we were here. We were there. And that kept coming up. Like, one guy, the big, tall, skinny guy that came up, I say skinny now, like, he was like, hey, I need to buy a belt. And John's like, yeah, okay. And he's like, yeah, I lost 150 pounds. And he was like, was that your choice? And he was like, yes, I listened to your stuff. You guys inspired me for the last 2 years or whatever. I've been working out. And, like there was a lot of that. I've lost some weight. I'm losing weight. Keep doing what you're doing. Like, if there ever was a, like, you guys need to keep doing what you're doing, that you need to keep saying what you're saying, like, there was a big push. And then there's a lot of guys in the industry that, like, they come across as, like, big, tough, big macho, like, tip of the spear, kill, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, you talk to them, and it's like, it's all about motivating people. It's all about moving forward. It's all about that. And they were all, like, everybody was like, yes, yes, yes. So it was a different experience.
Yeah, I think it's not just us. I think it's people in the industry. I think that it's just everybody was originally in it for the money, and a lot of those dudes that were. I mean, we obviously were. We had to be in it for the money. It was a job, right? And a lot of those guys have kind of fallen by the wayside. And the ones that remain, I think it's because they are doing more than just about the money. A lot of companies have gone out of business. There was a lot of dudes at the show who were like, this is the worst show we've ever had. People just aren't buying. Money's not coming out. While we're like, this is the best show we've ever had. Every time we've gone, we have made more money every year than the year before. So I don't understand it. Like, if you're not making money at the show, maybe you need to change something you're doing, right? Like, because we're not, it's like I've said all along, I said for the last 12 months, we're not going to Blade Show for the money. We're going to Blade Show because there's going to be 1,000 people at Blade Show because it's easier for them to get there. They're coming just to see us.
I will say 30% of it is we brought the right things.
Yeah,
for Blade Show, right? But I think 70% of it was people coming around and just, like, you heard the support. And, like, one guy said, I've saved all my money, my Blade Show spending money, to spend it here in your booth just because of what you guys do and stuff like that. So, like, and I was like, well, why don't you just hand it all over and then you can come by periodically and just, I'll take this now and I'll tell you how much you got left. And
yeah, dude's like, I have $2,000 to spend. I'm like, we don't need all your $2,000.
No, go buy a knife or something. But more than one guy was like, yep.
Put your money back in your pocket. You can come to dinner and I'll buy you dinner.
Yeah.
Jody's 2 guys. The 2 guys that came with Jody, I was like trying to force them out of the booth because they kept buying stuff like...
That's Brian. He comes around at parties.
Yeah, I mean, they just kept... I'm like, get out of here. I'm not taking your money anymore. And he'd be like, oh, I don't have that color. I'm like, get out of here.
Own 4 of them.
Yeah.
You know what's cool about those guys? They had one of them had the last, like, one colored thread backpack that we didn't have, and it was a Typhon backpack. And this guy in the booth, this firefighter was in the booth. We brought a super kit bag that was like one of ours, and the guy's like, man, I really want that. So I was like, let me empty it. Here you go. You know what I mean? He's like, oh, I want a Typhon backpack. And Brian goes, well, if you buy it for whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I'll sell you mine, and then I'll buy another one. Like, they were there buying stuff, but I feel like they're there also to maybe make some money flipping some other stuff. But they're cool guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, they bought. The only money I spent was on a knife.
What'd you get?
I bought a Strider.
Oh, another one?
In the room.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
Yeah.
I forgot about
Yeah,
that. I forgot about the room.
That, and I think I bought water.
I forgot about the room.
I didn't buy anything.
No, you didn't.
I went over. I talked to Mick and Dwayne a couple times. I talked to Glade. Other than that, man, that's it. I didn't leave the booth.
I think so negative, even, positive. I think you sold some stuff, right? You sold a couple.
Oh yeah, I sold 4 knives.
Yeah, so you walked away positive. He walked away even.
I would have bought those knives. I didn't even know you had any.
Yeah, I would have got that. What's that fixed blade?
The
short one.
I wasn't even going to sell them, really. I don't even know why. I wasn't even going to sell them, and then I had one, and they're like, let me see that.
Yeah.
Let me see that. And I'm like, well, I got these other ones, and they're like, how much do you want for them? I'm like,
that fixed blade, that Tanto one, the short one, I would take that one off you. That one was cool. I need something to put on the plate carrier, if I peel an apple or cut an orange.
Yeah, cut an orange. You don't want that shit squirting in your eye.
No. Nice sharp blade.
Yeah.
Okay. There's your podcast 101.
101, that's it.
Or we can add one more thing.
What's that?
The statement that you brought right before we walked in here. I have the greatest.
I didn't say it was the greatest. She was just saying
penis. You have the greatest penis. She says that.
You guys were talking about lesbians
or lack thereof.
I like our lesbians.
You were talking about lesbians.
You said plural. Who's the other ones?
Well, she's like 2 chicks.
Oh, yeah.
And the best fight. The best fight I have ever seen has been between lesbians.
Where is this at?
In Oceanside.
Don't you remember a lesbian fight?
Don't you remember the lesbians that lived around the corner?
Oh yeah.
And that lesbian beat the shit.
Beat the life out of that bitch.
Yeah, that's for whatever reason. Every time 2 chicks go at, with guys, it's usually whoever the top dog, the fight doesn't last very long. It's either you got lucky and knocked it on the chin, dude's out, or you're getting fucking manhandled and choked on the ground. With lesbians, man, they're pulling hair, they are fucking poking eyes, they go toe to toe.
She beat that bitch so bad that
they were a couple.
I fucked her. She wasn't a lesbian no more.
Okay, that one we're gonna assume was good looking because you fucked her. Were they both good looking?
Well, it was the typical.
One was good looking, one was a man.
Yeah, it was typical femme,
dumb,
oversized clitoris, underdeveloped penis.
Yeah, it's that typical kind of thing.
You gonna talk about the fight, or that's it?
That's it.
Oh, Titty didn't come flying out, or anything?
Didn't come flying out.
Oh, that's not the greatest fight ever, then.
Yeah, it is. She got the shit kicked out of her.
So she got her ass beat. It wasn't a fight.
No, it was a fight.
And then I gave her back to her girlfriend.
All right then. That was it. I thought you were gonna have something like the titty flew out, and
I'm sure.
And they made out at the halfway through. They started making out, and then the sprinklers turned on.
I'm sure a titty flew out.
They started. Now you're just saying that to make me feel better.
Yeah, because you want sprinklers and all that other shit. That's not a spectacular fight.
You said a great lesbian fight.
That's not what I said.
Lesbian fight.
That's not what I said. I said the best fight I've seen is 2 lesbians fighting.
All right, fine. We'll let it slide.
The best fight I saw was a chick took her high heel off and killed a chick with her.
Oh my god.
There was blood fucking everywhere. I'm pretty sure that bitch died. It was on the stairs at Mission Valley at the movie theater.
Wow. That changed it.
I was in fear for my life.
I would have been too. Bitch be killing people with her high heel.
Heels. It's a good heel. Should find out what kind of heel it was.
Beat that chick's face off.
Oh my god.
Should we read some of these, or you got something more? You got something more interesting? No? You done?
I don't think so.
What about work? A lot of work done while we're gone?
Except for the shipping. I had my thumb on my ass for the shipping. Took my time.
Well, it's because you were fucking sandbagging it because you didn't want to go to the table and have to clean product.
Exactly what it was.
That's why there's still 2 days worth of product to clean.
I wasn't sandbagging the shipping.
So what was it then?
Nothing.
No, he wasn't. Because I was going as I was working the belts, I was pulling orders too.
Why do you say that you had your thumb up your ass?
You want to smell?
probably smells like semen. No, I don't want to smell.
So, I mean, it's better than smelling like shit. If you had to smell one or the other.
During the last podcast, Man Bear
No.
got on.
I don't know. I think I'd probably take the poop.
During the last podcast, Man Bear got in on my I don't answer police questions without an attorney. I really wasn't speaking about traffic stops, more along the lines of if you get taken in. Sidebar, if I may. New Jersey, I-95 southbound, I get pulled over hauling a DOD load. Cop wants to know what I'm hauling. I cannot tell him, and frankly, I don't know. Bill of lading says not to be disclosed. He is now yelling at me through a small square hole. Yeah, no shit. He's got a bulletproof door probably. He is now yelling at me through a small square hole in the door. I informed him I can't open the door. I tried to give him my license and other shit. They take a break from threatening to shoot me. I am in a very armored truck. I texted my dispatcher, 16 state troopers, all thinking I'm Bobo bin Laden. They all want to kill me, but can't. All of a sudden, every one of them gets in their cars and leaves. DOD doesn't play. Yeah, that's no shit. Did you see the hazardous material, the nuclear?
The nuclear material.
I go, those look like sarcophaguses.
I was like, Amanda, why are you slowing down and we're all right next to this thing?
And I said, I go, he doesn't have any gun trucks with him. Like, there's no. I go, it can't be anything that bad because there's no security, right? I mean, that semi truck there. They'll run trucks with fucking miniguns in them, but that truck didn't have roll-ups on either side of it.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
So, and it said,
radioactive material.
Well,
Maybe it was
every one of them was marked. Every one of those tubes on the cradles was marked radioactive, but the truck had no placards at all on it. And then the side door said, "What's in East Tennessee?" The nuclear plant.
Oh,
Ridgemore or whatever.
Yeah, they were probably empty, and they're just taking them there to fill them with shit.
They're coming from there. They're going the wrong direction. Like they're heading towards New Mexico.
I can't imagine that they're just cruising around with
So there's got to be something somewhere.
Ninja Turtles in there,
a plane up in the air or something.
Ninja Turtles. Well, containment numbers depend on state and county. Example from MD municipality: fire suppression is mandatory on a new house. So result, your tank and table will differ depending some also square foot of house. What the fuck are we talking about? Building, shed, garages, shops, and pole barns depends on locality, usually, and age of house and grandfather law situations. Thanks, SRE crew. I don't know what that was even about.
but we can build whatever we want out here.
John Skully and Pierre, Waze app is your friend on long trips, especially towing a trailer. Way better than a CB radio back in the day. Big pothole, debris, broken vehicles and routes, etc. Thanks SOE and crew for awesome podcast. I've heard Google bought Waze.
Is Waze the one that Amanda had us all on?
So
like it tells you there's law enforcement cited.
Yeah,
Google Maps to do the same thing.
Her shit was pretty good because it was literally it'd be like pothole ahead, and there was a pothole. And I was like, how the hell are they doing this?
So Waze has potholes and animals on the side of the road and debris and all that stuff.
Because you can mark it.
Yeah, it's all But Google Maps bought Waze a long time ago, and all they've integrated with Google Maps is the police.
My Google Maps just started doing that shit like a few weeks ago.
I've been doing it for a while.
It's because you have a Google phone.
Yeah.
Googly.
Google.
John Scully and Pierre, Waze. We just did that one. Answer the internet question 7. Would you rather prove ghosts or aliens are real?
Aliens are real. So
that's
ghosts.
a tough one.
Yeah, aliens are real.
Aliens are real. I'm with you on
ghosts.
that. So I guess it would have to be ghosts.
You call them God.
Yeah, I guess it would have to be ghosts.
So if they find any kind of living form outside of the Earth,
that's extraterrestrial.
That's an alien. So so they've found some sort of life on Mars already.
Well, everybody's
on the microscopic level.
Everybody's like, don't try to make contact, but fucking, we've already made contact. Like we already have. They're right. Yeah, SETI already found some shit.
Right, but theoretically, right, a one-celled microorganism on Mars is an alien.
There's 5 or 6 movies that start that way.
Mm-hmm. And then we all die.
Yeah, whatever.
Species.
We're gonna die anyway.
I especially like the sexy species.
Yeah, if it's gonna be if we're gonna die, let it be sexy aliens.
What if they're all lesbians?
That would suck.
What up, guys? I wonder if either of you had ever heard of or read an old magazine called Machine Gun News. Of course we have.
Of course. I still have stacks of them.
I used to take them to class with me.
I still have stacks of Machine Gun News.
It's a long out-of-print magazine that covered NFA items related to topics specifically. I stumbled on a stack of old copy at a military surplus store in Pennsylvania. Son, you're really fucking me up with this light here. You gotta get in your corner.
Not angled, right?
I'm just fucking. I wore. Oh man, I couldn't see in the dark in the restaurant, and Amanda's like, "Put my glasses on," and I did, and I could see. Holy shit, I could see.
But you're cross-eyed now.
But then I realized as I kept going, I'm like, why is this eye like flickering? Oh, and I'm like, this one, like I'm good here, but not here. I have not been able to fucking read since then. Anyways, the stuff of wet dreams, laugh out loud there, full of photos and articles about obscure and exotic weapons of all types. One that got my attention in particular was the integral suppressed Car 15, which was being sold as a conversion by a company called Race Armament, R-A-S-E. It took Colt SMG mags and was available in 45. One issue also contained a photo of John Ross, the unintended consequence fame, holding a 2-bore rifle of some kind of expo. The earliest issue I have is summer of 91 and latest December of 96. Put gloves on. I'm going to make you wear gloves.
Okay. White ones?
One glove, one large glove. Just wondered if you were all familiar, still loving the podcast and my new belt. Keep it. Yeah, we were. I'm guessing Harry's younger than us because they were printing that.
Yeah, they were printing. I was buying them in print. A great magazine for reference. If you just need to reference stuff, they always have good articles on different machine guns and stuff. It's a really good thing to have.
I loved American Survival Guide. I have every single copy. I bought a whole box set of them from some dude. The first one I had was on the they called it the Minuteman or the Militiaman or something. I remember sitting at Denny's with my mom and I was sitting there reading that magazine. That was the very first one. Dude had a M1 carbine and an Alice pack.
Yeah, all the cool stuff.
I had an idea, not really pertaining to anything mentioned on podcast, but while driving back to Kentucky from Florida Saturday, I turned on the James Yeager Story Time with John and Skully Part 1 for the 100th time probably. It never gets old. James said that after we did his podcast, he never could get the energy that we had.
Because he didn't invite us back.
So he just stopped doing the podcast.
I think what it really was...
Stop doing the podcast. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
He's got an open invitation.
I think what it really was once everybody started finding out he really likes those bullpups.
Bullpups. And 45s.
Oh, I know he likes 45s.
Maybe we can...
He never said anything against 45.
Maybe we could rekindle the James Yeager podcast. We go in and do episode 3, and then he just has the momentum and goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll text him.
Look at that look on your face is not convincing.
Why?
I need a little more party.
The man has said 100 times.
You have a list of
times.
you have a list of 400 things we have to do.
It's not that big, but it's up there.
How many did you do today? You gotta do 3.
Well, I guess once the podcast.
What about the diaper bag?
No, you'll do 3.
I told him about the diaper bag,
and I said put it in motion.
Did we put it in motion?
I don't know what. So I can write a list and hand it to somebody and say, "Get this cut and made."
No, you write a list.
Okay.
1 black diaper bag. Don't spell black either. Just put BLK.
Yeah.
Diaper bag.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Capital ID. Then you bring it to me, and in my unlegible handwriting, I'll write +6.
Okay.
And then they'll know that it's authorized because they're like, "What the fuck does this say?" John must have wrote this.
Okay. So then they'll make +4.
And then they'll bring it to me and they'll go, "What does this say?" And I'll go, "It says +6," and they'll make 7.
So do you want me to just say diaper bag +6?
But we need to know who's it for.
I know. I have all that information.
Write it on there.
I will.
Because that motherfucker will come up and for some reason you won't be here and we're like, I'll sell every one of them.
Right. And then there's another thing that had to be made that we don't have.
What is it? Is it a secret?
No, it's a shotgun rig.
Who's that for?
Is it a secret? Look at him. He's like,
well, I don't know if I want to put it all out there.
Put it out. What? What are we doing?
When we met Level, you said send him one.
I said send John Level a micro rig?
Shotgun rig.
Shotgun. Oh, yeah, that's right.
I wasn't sure if you want to send him a cop rig or a shotgun rig.
I'd send him both of them.
So we got to make both then.
Why are we sending him that? I mean, why that?
Because he walked around and then he like really stuck around.
That's right. He was looking at the.
I was like,
man,
he really liked
I know
it.
why, but it's the shotgun rig.
Yeah, and you were like, send him one, and I was like, all right, we don't have any.
Send him one.
Make one. Make those same things, different separate piece of paper.
Yeah.
Can I put shotgun rig and stacked on it, or should I do 3?
Whatever you want to send him.
But like processes through the shop.
I would just build those singles as fast as we can, just so we can get them.
Shotgun rig single.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I put them all on one paper, otherwise we're not going to know that they all go to him.
Before we leave.
I think it would be awesome if once a week you posted a picture from the old shop era, like the Navy SEALs jocked up in the Chocolate Mountains, or the stacked up holster on the ceiling. How do these guys know about all that? Who is this? History is very interesting to me, and I think some SOE history with photographs would be awesome. Still loving the podcast. I use the Amazon link every time I order, and we'll be making some SOE orders soon. I've got to step my gear game up. EDC Decker. Right on, man. John, I just received my Memorial Day 2019 orders. I like the handwritten note in it. Nice touch. Looks like it was signed by Pierre. I enjoy the podcast. My question is for Skully. Have you shot a 2011 pistol? And if you have, what do you think of them? I just shot one made by STI out of Texas, and it was cool.
He's not shot one.
I have not shot one. I don't even
know.
What,
I don't even know.
I don't even know what a
1911 chambered 9mm double stack.
That doesn't mean I haven't shot one. I got a 1911 and 9mm.
Double stack?
Not a double stack.
I had an STI wide body.
It was old school though.
But
yeah.
you know who just offered
45
me?
though.
But you know,
I had some Paras too.
45 though, right? Yeah.
Somebody just offered me one of those at the Blade Show.
How much do you want for it?
I didn't ask
Who the fuck had that?
A lot of dudes.
Somebody we know.
Yeah.
So the STI guys have been
Top Gun.
Oh, really?
Gun,
that
yeah.
makes
Top
a lot
Gun
of
had
sense.
one?
Top Gun he's got like 3 guns.
I figured he had like a 4506 or something. Some Miami Vice shit.
He had 3 guns, and he's like, I'm selling this one, this one, this one. I'm like,
Top Gun.
I just couldn't.
From Florida.
Yeah, I just couldn't.
I didn't even know he has guns.
Wrap my head
I
around.
thought he's a bicycle cop.
Well, it's more mountain bikes. I mean, it's not like 10-speed bikes.
Yeah, it's got suspension on it.
Yeah,
You
it's
can
got
carry a gun.
suspension.
Yeah.
I think it's got like flares on it and stuff.
But doesn't he have to have like a bike stroller with him?
Well, that's how you carry
So
his ammo.
like when you arrest people, you put them in the bike seat.
Bike stroller, yeah.
I heard of drug dealers in major cities running drones and remote Wi-Fi cameras on surrounding areas in their spot for half a decade at least. I only heard that. Thanks, SNL. I'm sure that's true.
That's 100% true. Technology is going to get used for good and bad.
I just saw Peter McKinnon put up a video, said $5,000 drone fine. He just got a fine. Will I ever fly again? So I'm sure it's clickbait, but oh boy, just got to the part about rifles being sold off for $3. And Scully's reaction, I'm laughing. He just pooped a little bit.
I did poop a little bit. Well, who's got a rifle for $3?
Well, it was in the back of Boy's Life in Ranger
Oh,
Rick,
yeah.
next to the $15 Jeeps.
I had a really good friend. In the 60s.
The 60s?
In the 60s. You know him.
You weren't alive in the 60s.
I was not alive in the 60s. I did not meet him until after most of his life. But he was looking in the back of a magazine.
You talking about Super Seal?
Yeah. And he's looking in the back of a magazine, and there's a Lewis machine gun.
Oh, shit, yeah.
A fucking water-cooled Lewis machine gun in the back of this magazine. And he's like, I'm going to step up my paper route game. And I'm like, what?
For real.
I'm like, what do you mean you're going to step? I go, how old were you? And he goes, I was 16. And I'm going to step up my paper route game, and I'm going to buy this. Here's the crazy part.
Can I guess?
Go ahead. Lewis machine gun.
In the 60s?
Yeah.
What did it shoot?
303. British 303.
$35.
He was a SEAL before they had SEALs.
Pierre, you are almost dead on. It was $34.
Holy shit.
It was $34. He bought this thing. You can actually, if you go to my Facebook page, you can see me shooting it out in the desert. He bought this thing as a young lad, and I'm like, how the fuck did you do that? You were only 16. He goes,
sent the check in, they mailed it
none
to
of
my
those
house.
None of those laws were in place yet. You could buy a machine gun. You could do that shit. You could do that shit. And so he bought his machine gun and kept it all these years and he had every fucking widget and stuff, and we'd go out in the desert and shoot it, and I'm like, he's showing me how detailed this thing is. It's got a watch mechanism inside of it. You have to wind this watch mechanism to get it to run.
It's the timing of it.
Yeah, and it runs good. And I'm like, God damn, Billy.
Worth 10, 15 grand.
I go, how much is this fucking gun worth? And he literally looked at me and went, I don't know. I'm never selling it.
$35?
Dude,
and the $200 for the registry when the law passed?
And that wasn't
shit.
That wasn't shit. Like, I went in, there's a place, I can't think of the name of it. It's one of the machine gun, where you go shoot all the full autos and stuff.
Battlefield Las Vegas.
Battlefield Las Vegas is
guns,
one of them.
All those vehicles and shit are his.
All the vehicles. We went to another place that he was an armorer at, and I'm inside there, and there's this fucking 1917 water-cooled machine gun with all the widgets, the water can, sandbag.
Have you seen this? He's like, yeah,
and it's in a glass case. And then the next one was an M60, and I'm like, God damn, that is fucking badass. I would love to have one of those. I go, Billy, you got one of those? He goes, yeah, that's it right there.
That's his.
Any machine gun, like...
He used to drive a tank to work in Las Vegas.
Yeah, he drove a Ferret to work around in Las Vegas. First time I meet this guy, he's like, you got to come over to my house. I got to show you something. You got to come over to my house. I want you to see this. And I'm like, okay, let's go over there.
How old were you?
15 years ago, probably.
Yeah, it's probably 15 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Wasn't that? I was
recent history. Yeah,
kind of recent history.
He's a SHOT Show.
This is he's a former. He was a Red Cell guy. He was a UDT guy.
What does Red Cell mean?
That's
Mob 6.
Yeah,
Marcinko.
That's the original dev group. So it was Red Cell before it was dev group.
That's where the 6 comes from.
Yeah.
So it
So
was Mobilization 6. Their original mission was to break into bases and test security. So they were literally breaking into bases
Like
and,
U.S. bases.
and
Yeah, and
snatching
fucking
up
people
and
up.
snatching the XOs and interrogating them.
Oh, shit!
Like for real, snatching the XOs up and shit.
That's
COs
pretty
in the
cool.
base.
So I go over to his house, and I know that he's got machine guns and stuff, and we've gone out and shot.
Have you not read Rogue Warrior and all that?
No.
Don't come back till you do.
We've gone out and shot some small machine guns and stuff with him, and I go into his house. He's got his fucking house in Las Vegas is totally armored. He's got every window barred, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's not like normal bars, is it?
Like, what
He's
is
like,
that?
he starts going down the list. He starts going down the list of all the stuff he's done to the house.
He's like, my tunnel comes out 2 miles from here.
And he's like, if you try to rip if you try to rip the bars out of this building with your vehicle, it will pull your axles off. Because the way he put it. Anyway, so he opens his door.
Not to mention the cage that's going to fall over your vehicle.
We're going up the second floor. So we're going up to the second floor. There's a Browning 1919 machine gun just on the stairs.
Like the landing.
Ammo laying over it. There's guns and ammunition all the way up the stairs to get to his little apartment. We get up there. As soon as I turn the corner, there is a full rack. A full military rack of M14s in every configuration they've ever been made in. Just every size, shape, you can imagine M14s. The whole room, everywhere you look, there is some piece of historical firearm shit in the room. And I'm in there like, and Billy is like, no, come on, it's over here.
It's better.
It gets better. It's over
wait,
here.
there's
Don't
more.
worry about that. So we get over there, and he's like, look, I got my jacuzzi. He was all excited about his jacuzzi. And I'm like,
Are these all full autos?
Like, how'd you even get the jacuzzi in here?
It just depends. They're not all
He
full
had
autos.
anti-aircraft. He had anti-aircraft guns as a coffee table.
He had a 37 millimeter. He had a 30. So we go downstairs, and he's like, "Oh, if you think that's cool, you should see my coffee table." We go downstairs, and he has a 37 millimeter anti-tank gun, like you'd see the Germans using shooting fucking Shermans, as a fucking coffee table.
Where does he get the money to do all this? There's got to be millions of dollars in there.
Yeah, it has to be.
He was around the world, man. A lot of it was
retired Navy.
Okay, so there's a good chunk of change there.
Well, he's got retired Navy.
Yeah.
Then he joined the fire department in. He joined the fire department in Las Vegas.
Awarded by several fucking presidents.
Yep.
Okay.
They wrote
Retired.
These dudes.
Retired fire department.
Well, that's 2 retirements
Yeah,
now.
2 retirements.
2 pensions.
Adjunct
60.
Adjunct for any place in Las Vegas where you shot a machine gun. Billy was on the.
To include all the law enforcement departments.
Billy was on
That's
the
where
lease.
The money came from.
Billy was on the lease, so in
Because
order,
he's got his licensing or whatever.
yeah, he had every license you could possibly have.
Yeah,
He's
that's
like
where the
class
money's coming
7,
from. I got
whatever
you.
ninja.
That's what the whole shebang.
So yeah, but his thing was, like he said this, and sometimes sometimes it registers, and sometimes I'm like, Billy, you're fucking crazy. So, like, the anti-tank gun. I'm like, how much did you pay for that? He's like, it was $37,000. Or $35,000, I think. And I'm like, God.
So it's real.
Yeah, it's real.
Functioning, yeah.
When I say, as a coffee table,
he just put
he
board over it.
He had the ammo and everything stacked up right next to it. Literally, if you would have come in the front door, he would have went, boom. Yeah.
This guy's bananas.
He's fucking awesome. So, like, awesome, literally
Have you seen
fucking
him just
awesome.
Animated and excited? Look at his eyes. They're like, they're like fucking tight. Their eyes got tight.
There is no person that I've ever met that was more generous with his time, gracious with his stuff.
He didn't even know who I was, and he would stand and talk to me for fucking 3 hours.
And if you say, I want to go shoot this, he'd say, grab it, I got ammo.
Oh my God, we would go shooting. He'd be like, hey, where are you, every time I go to Vegas, I'd be like, I'm going to go shooting. He'd be like, where are you going? And I go, well, we're just going to go over here to wherever. And he'd go, oh, okay, I'm going to come. And so, obviously I'm coming from California, so I have guns that I legitimately want to zero and do stuff with.
Work.
Yeah, work. He would come, and you would not be able to shoot any of your stuff, because he'd be like, you need to shoot this. And he'd just start pulling shit out. Hey, oh, you want to shoot this? How come you don't want to shoot this?
How about the grenade launcher? How about the...
He had an M79 grenade launcher.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
This dude, so he had a company. He passed away last year.
Oh, that sucks.
James went to the funeral. Jeff went out there.
Jaeger?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Machine Gun BB.
Yeah.
She was
Yeah.
in business with him.
Yeah, they were actually
real.
they were going to do a show together.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
she's taking over.
No, well, I mean, she's doing her thing,
Okay,
but
yeah.
she's not taking. I mean, I don't think there's.
So what happens to all those guns? I'm not trying to cut you off.
He had a company, like, they're building guns for the Navy. Like, the Navy was getting weapons from them. That Navy.
Everything was. He did it right. Everything was in a trust. Everything went to his son.
He had 2 tanks.
okay,
He had tanks, dude. Like,
Yeah.
legit fucking tanks.
Sherman tanks.
From the CIA's range.
Yeah, he would say initially he would say some stuff, and I would always be like,
What?
yeah, this is some shit.
With the ordnance. The tank
Just
with the
anything.
ordnance. Yeah.
Even like when he was talking about, like, initially when the tank thing came up, I'm like, because he was like, I'm going to get 3, there's 3 Sherman tanks, I'm going to go get them.
3 Shermans.
And I'm like, that sounds,
okay.
Yeah, and then like a month later, he's posting pictures. They're basically the place where he got them. They accidentally found these. Like, they built, basically after World War II, they were using them as some targets, but then they changed the range from rockets to small arms. So they put berms up, and these things were just on the other side of the berm. And so somebody that trained underneath Billy. So a guy that went through the teams with Billy, who is now in the Army of Northern Virginia, is like, hey,
we've got 3 hidden
We've
tanks.
got 3 here. We've got these 3 here, and I've talked to the boss, and all they want is a gate guard. They just want one out in front of the range, painted up nice, looking sharp, and they're willing to give you the other 2.
Give them. Give them.
Give
Yeah,
them.
that's better.
Give them. So he goes out, and they needle gun the thing and repaint it, and they strip because they just, when the military gets rid of something like that, they just drive it out on the range, park it,
and then blow it up.
and then just blow it up. They don't care
At least
about.
they didn't get blown up.
One of them was pretty messed up.
A little bit blown up.
A little bit blown up, but they leave everything in it. They just. It's like you getting out. It's like right now, whatever's in your car.
Boom.
If I said tomorrow, "Hey, Pierre, we're getting you a new ride," you would just leave everything there and go.
We were taking Colin's car out there. We were gonna, because we were buying Colin a car. We were gonna take his car, put it on a trailer, and truck it out there, and then take it and drive over it with Billy's tank.
So he goes and he cleans it up and strips everything out of the interior of it that is useful. They weld it all shut, and I'm like, I'm still like, okay. And then Billy, the genius that he is, he goes to the local National Guard, and he's like, hey, I got these 2 Sherman tanks. I need to get them to the railway yard. The National Guard's like, oh, cool, we could do some training. We'll get our recovery vehicles and we'll recover these fucking things. So they recover them, put them on trucks, take them to the railway yard. They get to the railway yard. Billy knows everybody. The railway yard's like,
hey, what's up, Bill?
yeah, this train's going to be in Vegas in a couple of weeks. Just
load them up.
Load them up.
Here's 2 carts.
They load them up. They bring them out.
Holy
Billy's like,
shit.
hey, come on out. My tanks are here.
My tanks are here.
So I go out to his house, and he's got 2 Sherman tanks. He's got 2 Sherman tanks.
Does he have a property?
Yeah.
20 acres.
He's got a
40
couple
acres?
of different
Okay.
pieces.
Compact.
But I mean, he's got a ferret. He's got a Saracen.
The Saracen that was broke down there trying to pull the deuce and a half.
Yeah, that was Billy's Saracen. He's already got quite a bit of vehicles. But anyways, he's got these 2 Sherman tanks, and he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with them. One of them, the Marine Corps, so he's got a Marine Corps one that was actually in the Pacific, was actually in combat. And then he's got an Army one. And he's like, I think I'm going to keep the Army one because it was just in better shape. It was kind of in better shape. But the Marine Corps one still had a radial engine in it, which is very rare. They don't have the radial engine. They stopped putting them in Shermans once the war kicked off because they're expensive. It's an airplane engine.
But that yellow plane I found has a radial engine in it.
There's a guy in fucking Utah who's like,
I'm looking for a radial engine.
you have a radial engine for a Sherman tank? And Billy's like, yeah, I got a radial engine for a Sherman tank. And he's like,
I'll give you $100,000 for it.
no, he's like, this is what I'll do. Send me that Sherman tank with that radial engine. We'll put a tractor engine. We'll put a good cat tractor engine in your Sherman tank. You give me the radial engine, and I'll rebuild that tank for you. So, tank goes up to get rebuilt for the radial engine because it's just radial engines don't exist. And so the other one,
You
he's
know what
like,
a radial is?
huh?
You know what a radial is?
What do you mean?
What a radial engine is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, tell me.
Is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the way around?
Yeah.
Like a rotary motor.
Yeah.
Like an RX-7. Same thing, right?
Kind of.
Yes.
Yeah.
They both spin.
So in the other one, he's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with the other one, and I'm like, I want it. I want it. It's pretty torqued up
I
though.
wonder what happens to this.
Well, the other one is, if you go to Las Vegas right now, and you drive by Battlefield Las Vegas, the other one is parked right in front of Battlefield Las Vegas. I'm like,
What about the guns?
I go, Billy, what did you do? He goes, oh, they're gonna give me $45,000. They gave me $45,000, and they're building me a Humvee.
So he's getting $200,000 for it.
Yeah. He oh man, just the wheeling and dealing. And so I'm like, what about the guns? As John said.
Oh, they came with guns.
Yeah,
Kind of.
well, yeah, they came with everything. So what I said, they just parked them, got out, and left.
What about like the radios and shit like that?
Parked them and left.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I think I should like security consultation for the fucking military forces.
So parked them and left, and because they're like, we're shooting them.
Right.
So like in the Marine Corps tank, there wasn't a lot of usable stuff in there because they were shooting it with B-57 rockets,
okay.
and it was tearing the inside of it out. But I go, what about the guns, Billy? And he's like,
He said exactly like that.
yeah. He goes, So you can't have a 105 millimeter howitzer.
You shouldn't have allowed.
Well, no. It's a destructive device.
Legally.
Oh, okay.
You technically can if you want to go through the thing.
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
artillery pieces out there that you can buy. Okay, but those artillery pieces that you're buying, the breech block, the breech block. The breech block is the point of contention with those things.
Okay.
So like
That's
when
the
you
registered
buy a
piece,
tank,
Yeah.
the breech blocks will normally be cut off. Well, all these breech blocks were intact. The government has never sold a howitzer of any kind with an intact breech block with the same serial number as the gun. Okay, so when you see somebody out, when you see, like Dylan out there shooting his fucking 105, the serial number and the breech block don't match.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have to be different. And so he's like, so I took all three breech blocks. So I have different serial numbers for my guns.
He just swapped them around.
Yeah, just swapped them around. So all he had to do was take the serial number off the breech block, do the paperwork, send it in to the feds, and then they go through the paperwork, and then they're like, okay, your breech block's good to go, and then he just drops it on that fucking gun. So he had a full,
He's got a tank.
Well, he had a fully operational Sherman tank. Yeah.
Holy
Crazy.
fuck.
How do you get that to... I mean, you can't drive that motherfucker on the road.
National Guard guys picked it up, took it to the train thing. Yeah. Just fucking guys. He was one in a fucking million.
Just 1 in a billion.
Yeah, the dude was...
Last of the breed.
Yeah. I went his funeral. So I went to his funeral, and it was probably the coolest funeral I've ever been to, in the sense that when you walked into that room, you'd have been like, who the fuck was this guy? Because there was
everybody.
Sheriff's Department, Highway Patrol Department, 4 different motorcycle gangs, 10 goth people.
Prostitutes.
I mean,
fucking just...
The crowd, it was a real mixed... The crowd was really mixed. It was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome. Good guy. Anyways, that's my machine gun story.
What a story.
Lewis Guns. I love it.
Is that to Jolly Rancher or the gummy bears?
Your nipples itch?
No, I should smell it.
Makes your nipples itch.
I haven't had any. Do I have to have it for the nipples itch?
No, you just have to smell it. Love videos like this. Thanks for watching and being a part of what we're doing. If you guys do go to Chicago, email me. I'll head down from Minnesota. I love road trips. I have a deep artisanal well on my property. No poop in there. In fact, if you leave it out on the counter for more than a few days, stuff will start growing in it because of the lack of chlorine and other water treatment stuff. But I'll tell you what, the stuff is so pure that it almost tastes sweet. Super soft too. When you wash with soap, it almost feels like you can't get the last bit of soap off. Took a little bit to get used to the feeling. Yeah, I hate that.
Good. That's nice having good water like that.
I hate when you
very
have to,
rare.
Yeah. It seems I've caught some kind of bug. It affects mental function like a drug addiction. It starts innocently enough with the purchase of an EDC belt, then a hookup on a sick duffel bag. Now I've ordered a shirt to rock the SOE brand. It's been a good week. I'd ask for help, but I think I like the feeling too damn much.
So after we were talking about the 2 guys that came and bought all this stuff, I told him, I said, next year I'm going to get a sign that goes above SOE that says the SOE Trap House.
I like it. It's the gateway drugs.
It's the gateway drugs.
Episode 99 and 7/16, 99 and 7/16. What up, guys? Just got my EDC belt, gray base, Typhon Toxic Green Thread. Think this is my favorite one yet. Damn, came out amazing. I said it before. The podcast videos are a win as always. Hopefully soon some creeps will be getting justice. I don't know what that's about.
They won't be. Nobody's going to jail. Yeah, nobody's going to jail.
In reference to 99-9.4, you talked about where Carhartt is manufactured. I know here where I live in Glasgow, Kentucky, we have a Carhartt factory right in the middle of the town. My aunt worked there. One day, she came home crying, saying she was losing her job and had no idea what she was going to do. She had worked there for 20 years. She ended up being dismissed with little more than $8,000 severance that she used to buy a new car. She's now a housekeeper at a local hospital, and she's in her late 70s. She will almost likely never retire comfortably. I was a kid when all this happened, probably around 98, 99. So I couldn't tell you how much fault she had in the situation. We had a factory direct store as well, but it went away when the factory did. We still have a small manufacturing plant in Edmonton, Kentucky, which is about 20 miles down the road, and I'm sure they have more in the USA. We have one right here in town. Carhartt is right here in Camden. When I moved here, they were doing repair work from Mexico. They were manufacturing in Mexico, and then they'd bring it up here and resew it and fix some of the shit. I hear that they are now manufacturing here. There's a fucking 1,000 people work there or something. But it's a trip. They'll hire literally like 100 people, and 6 weeks later they'll dismiss all of them. And we get girls from Carhartt, and if we have 100 of them come through, 5 of them can actually sew, and they're working here.
Yeah.
The others can't even fucking thread a sewing machine. It's a trip. Because it's all manufacturing. They're button pushers. They have one automated machine that does one thing, and they do that one thing 1,000 times a day for 10 years. They can't do any processes. So,
and that may not have been her fault getting fired.
no, I would guess that it probably was not, because they do that here.
Yeah, just because of that time frame. If you look at that time frame, that 1990, that in that time frame,
NAFTA.
a lot of companies were firing people that were close to retirement, so they would not have to pay those
They
retirements.
still do it.
Yeah, they still do it, but I mean, it was really big back then.
I guess I should clarify when I say they severanced her. I mean, they shut the doors. The building was purchased by a family that turned it into a bowling alley and badly overpriced arcade. So, Oshkosh, HIS, Chick Jeans, Levi's, Carhartt, they were all here. When we moved here, we knew that those factories had closed down. The factories were still there. We assumed we would be able to hire skilled labor. And what we found is that many of them have expired. They just died. They weren't here, or they were too old to work any longer. We went into a huge factory, huge. You could race cars inside this place. Everything was still there. There were pallets stacked to the roof of sheets of denim. There was hundreds of sewing machines. Everything was still there. Like, you could power up and continue to run, but it had sat for 20 years just rusting away. Like, it was all still there. Somebody bought that building a couple years ago. They took all the copper out of it, and literally 30 days later paid off the mortgage on the building just from the copper. They cut all the main lines out, and now it sits with no electricity, and it's just a shed. It's leaking through, and they just use it for like old building materials and shit. What's their name owns it? Man, Pierre, I put the damn hashtag everywhere. I knew I was winning that multicam bag for sure. Apparently a few people got the jump on me. They spelled the hashtag wrong, though. American Gun Chick. There is no K at the end. Yes, you will see me in a few days. At the last minute, we weren't going to go because Freedom has to have surgery. But he didn't want to disappoint me and the boys, so just tonight decided to keep the reservation and go. Had until the 6th to cancel with no fees. Can't wait. We'll have more comments. I'm just watching it and wanted to say that real quick. We saw you. Awesome seeing you. And then you disappeared and we didn't see you anymore. You didn't even say goodbye. Please use tilapia in the totes. Hillbilly Psycho, another great one. Who is Hillbilly Psycho? Are you the groundskeeper guy? You are, aren't you? That's the dude. Remember, I'm like, this is the dude. I think that's him.
Oh yeah, the one that was talking about your aquariums.
He's like, I'll live there. I have a trailer. I'll come down and
Another great
be your
one.
groundskeeper.
Hillbilly.
We will, no, I think this dude would. I think so. We will name him Hagrid.
What was your takeaway from Blade?
Me? I don't know.
Okay.
I'm fucking exhausted.
Yeah.
I
But
slept.
the food is not good in the Waverly.
I slept 90
Hotel?
minutes. I slept 90 minutes last night. I took a 20-minute nap right before I came down and did this. That's where I was. I don't think I slept that 20 minutes. Although maybe I did.
I slept hard. I think we were just so tired.
So every time, it takes us about 8 hours, 8 man-hours to do this podcast. 90 minutes of your time, 90 minutes of mine, 90 minutes of his. 2-3 hours of Gabby's, right?
Yep.
So 8-9 hours of man hours per day
That's true.
to do this podcast. And sometimes I'm like, why are we doing this? Like, maybe we can just do it once a week, or we can skip, right? Every time I verbalize that, I'll get in bed about 11 o'clock, and I'll have a shitload of emails, and I'll start reading through them, and there's a bunch of fucking emails of dudes that are like,
Don't stop.
well, not only that, but like, it changed my life. I've lost 150 pounds. I saw your video and I got up and I walked around the block, and the next day I walked two times around the block, and I've sat on the couch the last 2 years. So, I mean, obviously it's doing something, but even being there, dudes just came up. Like, I would literally be standing talking to 5 people, and there'd be 5 more people waiting to just say, hey man, fucking, I heard what you said and started doing it, and it's improving my life. So we'll just keep doing it.
Okay. I'm in.
there was a couple that came up to me, and this couple came up to me, and they were just like, and they were talking just like we'd been friends forever. And then the lady stopped and she goes,
"You have no idea who I am.
You don't even know who we are." I go, she goes, "It's not your fault, but we have not said who we are. Right. We think we know everything because we watch the podcast." And I go, "It's totally okay. It is totally okay. I totally get it."
People come through the door here and they don't identify themselves and they just start talking. I'm like, "How do you know that?" "Well, I talk to you on the podcast all the time. Like, I talk to you on the internet all the time." I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, because they use other names, right?
Yeah. It's awesome.
It was motivational in a different sense of like, I don't know, like it just like made you feel like you were doing something that was made a difference, or a part of something that's making a difference.
Now they all have to go and make a difference. It doesn't have to be us. Like they heard what we said. They were ready to hear it. Whatever. Now they need to go and just fucking give a little bit of it to somebody else. Not even from us, from them, right? Just fucking pay it forward. Just go forward. Do the same thing.
That's how you change.
Or we can start a cult.
Well, we have a cult already. That's how you change
the world.
Yeah, like people like lose their mind over like.
I think everybody wants to every church takes all these donations. We're gonna go build some wells in Africa. Why don't you help somebody in your fucking neighborhood? Like, why don't you help somebody you know? Why don't you spend your money someplace where you can see the results of it? They want to do that shit because they are too lazy or they're not going to fucking do it locally because that means that you still have some responsibility. Whereas if we just send that shit somewhere else, we feel good about it for a little while and we don't have to fucking take care of it.
We're working out this morning and the headline, the most important thing that we should have known for the day, David Ortiz shot.
I don't even know who that is.
And John goes, "Who's David Ortiz?" I said, "Baseball player for Red Sox or whatever." He was like, "Okay," and then we kept going. And that like that's kind of like exactly like that proves the point right there. Like, it sucks that this dude got shot, right? Like, I don't wish anybody to get shot, but like, and I'm sure he's got some he's got some charities that he probably funds because it's more of a tax break than anything, but that helps people. But like it doesn't add or take away. We had a big conversation about what adds and takes away to your life on the way back from Jackson today, but like, I feel like you and us, you know what I mean? Like, we're adding a lot to people's lives, and I'm taking something away from it, and I know you're taking something away from it, and you are taking something away from it also. You know what I mean? Like, and it makes it feel like,
well, like on the way back, right? You're like, "Hey, so and so jumped on this bandwagon, right? Okay, so, and the common denominator with all those people, those are people we've cut out of our lives because they're pieces of fucking shit, and now they're coming together to talk shit." And what did I say? I go, they don't fucking matter. Let them group up. Let them talk their shit.
It's good.
We haven't fucking spoken their names in 3, 4, 5, 6 years, some of them. We didn't even know they fucking still existed. And what are they doing? The exact same bullshit they were doing when we left them fucking on the side 6 years ago. What are we doing? We're doing shit. The real thing is, you don't want any of them motherfuckers anywhere near you. No. They're fucking poisonous.
Yeah. Like the weight people put on stuff, and it's like those same people, you just want to explain to them that, like, hey, it doesn't matter, and then you realize you can't, and then like they're still saying our names and we're not saying theirs, and they're still coming to see what we're doing, so they can go. And I don't even like, he sent me a screenshot today of someone, and I was like, he's like, "You think this is about us?" And I was like, I haven't been friends with that person on Facebook for God knows how long. And then 3 other people that I am not friends with on Facebook anymore commented, you know what I mean? And they showed up, and I was like, you saying you're cutting out bullshit out of your life? I don't even see that. Like, for once, he's bringing bullshit into me because he's, hey, look, not that you're bringing, but you get what I'm saying. Right. Look, and I'm like, huh?
How many times through the weekend you're like, what? Oh shit, this, that, the other. I'm like,
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, man.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. We're gonna be okay.
I
Like, the new thing is like there is no problem.
Right.
Not even about people. I mean, even our own shit within the business.
What was the thing you said?
That's not a problem.
The morning was like, this is going to be the worst thing that happens all day.
Which black car am I going to drive today?
Yeah.
That's the toughest thing I have to decide.
Like, listen, when you first come on board here, you're like, okay, yes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to say yes, and I'm just not going to care about the answer. And then it's like, holy shit, this fucking crazy motherfucker is dead on. Like, if you own it, right? If you own that so-and-so didn't drink a cup of water at lunch is the worst thing that happens that day for the day. That's it. Like, I'm putting it right here. I'm marking it. That's the worst thing that's going to happen all day.
Yeah, the hardest decision I
That's
have
the
to make.
end up. That ends up being the hardest thing that happens all day, and then you just move on. And
The
then
hardest
it's like,
decision
holy
I had to make was this morning at 5:30, and it was whether I'm going to drink espresso protein or chocolate protein because I couldn't find the chocolate. Like, that's the worst thing that will happen all day.
But we had shit that.
Oh, you had the espresso, didn't you? Because you didn't find the chocolate till later.
That's right.
Yeah.
We had the hiccups throughout the day. We had things that, but like,
What were they?
Yeah, what were they?
but they don't like. If you don't, that's what I'm saying. If you mark that thing as this is the worst, like I thought it was at first. I was just saying yes and I agree, just to say yes and agree and do it, but not no. But like,
It's
holy
real.
shit, it's fucking real.
There is no problem.
There isn't.
There really isn't. There is no.
You put weight on shit that's.
problem.
You find that the stupid. You stub your toe. This is the worst thing that's gonna happen all day.
Inhale from deep.
Yeah.
There is no problem.
Yeah. The shittiest part of my day.
The hardest part of your day was I put fucking
5:15.
25 more pounds on each side.
No,
of the gym.
no, that wasn't. You fucked my day. You fucked today up yesterday.
When I said be here at 5:45, and you were.
And you only said it once, and I'm walking out, and I was like, "Yeah, motherfucker!" Like I was steaming the whole way to the fucking room, right? Like, that fucking piece of mother, right? Like he cut 15 minutes out of my bedtime, right? I woke up, fucking boom, 5 o'clock.
And you know what happened?
I was like, "You motherfucker!" I got up, I put my feet
How much
down.
did you sleep last night?
I slept. I woke up, I tossed and turned a couple bit, but I slept.
You know how much I slept?
None.
90 minutes.
Yeah. I put my feet down, and I took a fucking. My body's still trying to kick out
I
all the
was
shit we ate.
fucking dead at the gym until about halfway through.
Yeah.
And then it clicked.
Yep.
Don't think you can sleep 90 minutes.
No, he's a cyborg.
There's so much stimulants flowing through his body right now.
I didn't have any stimulants yesterday. None.
That's like saying I'm not radioactive anymore.
I didn't have any stimulants today until right now.
You take so many stimulants,
So
it's got to have a half-life.
the first day we went to work out with him, right? You go, I go, right? I'm walking in, like, and he's like, pound this. I'm like, right? And then, like, we get into the car, right? We get into the car, and he's like, drink this now. And I was like, Master, no, please, no. And he's like, I fucking made that. And he's like getting mad at me. I was like, dude.
That is not how. Like, fuck it, I'll drink it.
Yeah, he's like, fuck. And I'm like, you don't understand. If I look at pre-workout, I get jittery. And, like, if I'm too tired,
I mean,
it does.
You just need to work out harder.
It doesn't do anything. Like, I'll still be asleep, but my heart will just be boom, boom. Like,
when I don't want to work out.
Super sensitive to it.
When I don't want to work out, I'll take pre-workout.
Yeah.
And then I'll feel like I'm going to die if I don't work out.
Yeah.
So I have no choice but to work out.
So he's fucking 600 milligrams of caffeine
that's what I'm saying.
And we haven't hit the gym yet. And
I've been up fucking 120 minutes.
I'm tired right now, and I'm hungry
I'm tired.
now. Right? I'm tired. I'm yawning. I'm trying to stifle the yawn. Right? I
still haven't had a shower today.
One scoop. Neither have I. One scoop of Onward, like the easy stuff, right? And like it kicked in.
I give my babies. If I had babies, I'd fucking bottle feed them Onward.
Right, like yeah, like I kicked in right as we walked into the gym. Like once the blood started flowing, like once we started picking stuff up, I felt it, and I felt like I had a good workout this morning. I felt like this morning was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know, like, and here's now, like, the mind fuck comes, like...
You're going to feel it tomorrow.
Is it because we ate, like, all this carb loading, we had all this energy
No.
No, it's just we had a good workout.
Yeah.
All right. But my gut's still trying to push all that junk out.
You shouldn't have put it in you.
I did pretty good.
You surprised me
for the situation.
You surprised me a few times.
You had dessert 6 times every meal.
Who did?
You.
Yes.
He's like everybody. And I asked him every time he'd take a bite out of a donut. What did I ask you?
Is that good?
Is it good? And he'd be like, no, it's fucking. And it would piss him off, and he'd put it down. And he'd come back an hour later, and it's the same donut, right? And now it's cold and stale. And he'd be like, I'd be like, is it any good? You can't have any. I go, I know. Is it any good? No, it sucks. And he'd smash it back in the bag and leave it. The best thing we ate at the show was this like cold, shitty, undercooked pizza. That was like, it was so...
Oh, the pizza from
Microtech pizza.
Microtech pizza? Yeah.
And because it was stolen from Microtech, that even made it better.
That made it better.
At the show.
Jared came out with a half a pizza and I go, let me have a bite. And I ate the whole pizza. I go,
no, you gave me...
Go give me some more.
He would take a bite, I took a bite, and then he finished it. And then Amanda scraped up all the toppings and looks at me, and I'm like, that's just... There's nothing but like an ounce of sauce and some carbs. And she goes walking away, and I was like... Come back here, and she was like, "Okay." I ate them. There was nothing, but there was no flavor.
Because we were so busy, we didn't eat at the show.
That was my highlight of eating.
I sent the bat over there. I sent Reed over there. I'm like, Reed, go get. He's like, I can't go in there and get it. I go, just go get some.
Walking with some
and he
purpose.
brought pizza back.
Then we had the square egg loaves.
Yeah.
In the morning.
Hummus.
Everything was tagged.
Everything's said hummus. There's no hummus.
Eggs and cheese.
All right. There's your podcast.
There it is.
That might be
We
the
just
last
got
one
back.
ever. Gabby's last week.
Mm-hmm. I got to do all that shit tomorrow then.
I might have a new person. Yeah.
That'd be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Here's the contest. You ready?
Signa.
Oh, you ruined the contest.
What's the
I was
contest?
going to tell if they guessed who it was, we'd give them some.
They don't know who that is.
They know who it is.
No, they don't.
Do you want? They know who it is. Shh.
That's it.
Away with you.
Cut that shit off.
Turn that shit off.